Well, hello. Welcome to today's Dashcam Diary of Disabled with me, Chronically Happy. Oh man, yesterday was actually the last 2 days were just sheet shows. They were sheet shows. Actually, no, even longer than that. There were a lot more sheet shows than that. I would say over the last 4 or 5 days. Wow, that was a big box in the middle of the road. Okay, some lady was dragging it out, thankfully. Anyways, distraction, ADHD brain. Gosh, I hate having the camera so flipping close. I wish I had my phone holder. I need to find a replacement bad and ASAP and for cheaper than what I saw it for online. Anyways, I went to, I'm going to post a short video, and I hope I don't have to edit it much. I think I do, because my uncle started cussing in the end of the video, so I might have to cut the video short and edit that last part out. But it was very short, and it was kind of blurry. It was not very good video quality. So yeah. Anyways, I almost had my video cut off because I wasn't paying attention to my phone. I saw that a phone call was starting to interrupt my video. Thankfully, I looked down for the second I did. Otherwise, my video would have been ended prematurely, and I would have been mad because I didn't want to have to start over again. I'm going to start putting more outtakes on my shorts, my reels, whatever you want to call them, on YouTube Shorts. Right now, I am headed to physical therapy. I had my chiropractor appointment this morning. I took my uncle with me. Wednesdays are my hour-long slots, and it was a last-minute decision. I woke him up like within 5 minutes of me needing to leave, but I couldn't find my car keys this morning because I was so medicated the other day, because I'd have to say very medicated over the last 3 or 4 days because of the BS I've had to deal with. It's definitely a disgruntled disabled veteran video as well as just Dashcam Diary. And it's not necessarily on the VA's fault or on their end. It is my physical therapist's office. I am on the verge of a breakdown because of this BS. They've had to resubmit the continuation of care to the VA 5 times now. This is the 5th time, and I need to have it submitted ASAP. And so this makes the VA workers have to put my stuff on the top of other veterans because of somebody else's mess up, and so some other veterans are getting a little bit more of a delay in their community care because of this other place having to take up so much of a person's time with having to call them multiple times to remind them on how to fill out the form, because they obviously do not know how to fill it out correctly, because they are going to get it purposely denied every time because they didn't change the mistake that they made. They never even acknowledged that they messed up by putting the wrong year 2 submissions in a row. So then I had my VA rep call them for the 3rd time and ask them, what day did you talk to them? They say they were going to submit it what day now. So now I can use that as ammunition when I go talk to them and be like, they called you on this day. You said you were going to submit it on this day. Did you submit it on this day? If not, will you please submit it now? Because we did not realize until the VA reminded me or told me this week, because I told them about, I have one more appointment this month, which is next week on the 17th. And my current authorization expires on December 15th. Whichever ends sooner is either my visits or the date. So I was not able to get my full amount of PT visits within my authorization period because you know why? Because they book out so far in advance. And you know why I have a gap in my physical therapy care? Because there's that gap. Because you know why? They don't want to submit a continuation of care until I only have 2 visits left on my current authorization. So they've made exceptions in the past because they know how long it takes the VA to do things, when honestly my VA is faster than F. And my VA does things differently than the Salem-Portland VA does. Their community care forms are slightly different, and they require slightly different things inputted into different boxes. So one way is not the way to do it for all claims with the VA. And they are so used to using the Salem-Portland VA format that they tried to correct me multiple times on how it works with claims. And I'm like, well, I kind of know what I'm talking about because I've been through this. I know what my VA does and doesn't do because I talk to them personally every single time, because I've had to do other people's jobs for them in the past on submitting the continuation of care properly and within a timely time frame, because otherwise I am going to be missing out on care. And guess what? They are already booking out into March. Well, at the time that I started this, hey, nudge, submit this continuation of care, I started talking to them about it in November when I had about 4 visits left. They said they will wait and they will do such and such on this week. Okay, so that week done and passed, and they never submitted it, or they submitted it but with the wrong year. So then I went back a week later after I learned found out, and they told me that it was denied. So then I had 3 visits left. So then I'm like, okay, well, let's just submit it again, please. That's when and then I also said I need to have a date on the books for them to have a start date of when my first appointment is for the new authorization. That is how my VA has usually always worked. They can leave the dates blank until they schedule my appointment. If that's policy that they, like my PT office says, is policy that they don't do any scheduling of appointments until the authorization is pre-authorized. So when it comes to that, they need to just leave the dates blank if they do not want to schedule me an appointment before the authorization. They need to leave those boxes blank. Well, since I forced them to make me have some appointments because they were already booking out into March back in last month, February. They were like the end of February, beginning of March, but they actually only had 1 opening the end of January. So my very first appointment on the new authorization supposedly was going to be January 29th. Well, just so happened the VA pointed out, oh, your authorization ends on December 15th. You can't go to the December 17th appointment unless they include it into the new authorization. So now they need to go back because they finally changed the year, but they put January 2026 without an actual date. So at least they didn't put the 29th down, but it still doesn't cover December 17th. So now here it is, exactly 7 days prior to my next appointment, and I have an appointment today. And the last time that happened, they wanted to wait until my appointment was over so they could submit the notes into the new continuation of care before they submit it. Well, they already submitted it, but now they need to resubmit it for next week so I can go next week to get PT. So I have to call the VA after my PT appointment today to be like, okay, hey, did you talk to them yesterday or today about changing that continuation of care for December 17th, 2025, which, how much you want to bet they put December 2026 through March 2026. How much you want to bet they aren't going to change, they remembered to change the date because they have a problem with looking at the date supposedly. So I really need to stress to them that they need to leave the dates blank, and the VA will fill in the date. So hopefully I can get that taken care of today, because it also has to go up for review to the physical therapist at the VA in Washington for him to sign off and check off and say, okay, approved. And then they can put in the dates of the new pre-authorization for continuing my care at physical therapy. This is the only physical therapy that I know does the kind of physical therapy that I require with my Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. And one of the PT, like the one I'm seeing today, actually has EDS herself, Ehlers-Danlos herself. And so I am really thankful for seeing her, because I like her better than the one I have been seeing regularly. But the one I have been seeing regularly is the only one that has openings. I don't want to see this PT. She is gaslighty. She doesn't understand my EDS. She tries to have a toxic positivity type of ableism, and she just doesn't understand. She's just not open-minded enough for me. But she's the only one available, and she is trained in the kind of PT that I need. There's only 3 of them that are trained in what I need, and the other 2 are completely booked up. And I wonder why. Because I don't think anybody likes this other physical therapist. I certainly don't like her, but she's the only one available, so I have to take what I can get. And I don't want to change where I go to physical therapy, because this place is literally only 5 blocks from my house. It's so convenient, and it's going to be so convenient after surgery what kind of PT I'm going to get, because they're trained in to be able to do what I'm going to need. I know it. But I'm going to have to get a whole new reevaluation done after surgery, so then we can move forward with a different type of physical therapy if need be, on top of what I have now. But the fact that they're booked up for 3 to 4 months in advance is going to make it really difficult for me to get the required amount of PT after surgery, especially since they're booking into March now, and I get my surgery March 2nd, so I can't get reevaluated until March, and at that point, there's going to be no openings. So I'm not going to have physical therapy for at least a minimum of 3 months, which I hope that I won't need to do physical therapy for 3 months, but I feel like it would be necessary, because I got retethered within 3 months, and I did not have physical therapy last time. The physical therapy I get is to help my fascia, to prevent it from adhesing to my abdominal wall and organs. It's counterfascial strain, and it has to do with making sure my scar tissue doesn't adhere to my surgery incision. And I did have slight complications after my first tethered cord surgery. I had a hematoma above my incision because I don't think they sealed everything properly, and it was my body's way of saying, hey, there's something that's not healing correctly. And I needed help making it not adhere and tether again. And I'm still, I'm still kind of wondering if I should even go through with this surgery or not. I fought so hard for it, and I do believe I have it, but I almost feel like I have another problem with cervical instability that might be causing more issues than the tethered cord is, but the tethered cord is definitely causing problems. So I'm really hesitant, and I really need to listen to my gut about this, and I don't know if this surgery is right now. It was right 5 months ago, 6 months ago, but I've fallen multiple times. I don't know if this is the surgery I need at the moment. I'm really in conflict right now. And I really want to see what's going on with my spine. I want to know where my Chiari is at. I want to know what's different. Because my body is different after these falls, and I don't know how, but things are different. And time is only going to show me. But I don't feel like I have much time to heal from these falls in order to be capable of recovering from a surgery, a major surgery like this. I have some major decisions to make, and this physical therapy thing is just really overwhelming me with this billing issue and insurance issue. And I'm really distraught over my allergist office and my infusion stuff. My infusion, in order to continue getting my medicine for my infusions, I need to do labs. But my allergist office has this lab order dated back to October timeframe. Why did I just now get this letter dated from October in my email now? And they said I had to have this done within 1 week in order for me to continue getting financial assistance in order to get the medicine I require for my... Honestly, it helps my EDS and my immune system. My central nervous system needs help with mast cell stabilizers, and I have a doctor's name, and I'm going to need to learn to reach out to this doctor because he's a naturopath, and he's a doctor that might be willing to prescribe me the medication that I need at the dosage I need, because my psychiatrist is just not comfortable prescribing it at that high of a dose. And honestly, I don't like the fact that as a medication that is a controlled substance is my mast cell stabilizer and anxiety med of Klonopin. I know that makes me be labeled as many things. There's a stigma about it from civilians and doctors alike. When whether you agree with it or not, that does not matter, because it does help me, and it helps my mast cell reactions, which also helps with my anxiety of all these medical problems and this medical gaslighting that I receive constantly from doctors, and not being able to get the medication I need at the dosage I need at times. But I'm going to be working with my psychiatrist, and I'm going to maybe change my medication around and see if I can just keep changing those, see if the surgery helps me. I mean, it's multifaceted. There's so much going on. And then, so I got problems with my allergist is no longer authorized under VA because they never submitted the paperwork at all. It expired in October. So I had to get on them about that. They submitted that, my medications, to 2 or 3 different pharmacies that I don't use. So I don't know how I'm going to get those medicines. I am just overwhelmed. Overwhelmed so bad because I'm not sure how to prioritize all of these, for one, and also how am I going to get people to do their job correctly and send it to the right place when I tell them and they still do it wrong, and then I correct them and they still do it wrong and I correct them, you know. I try not to get mad about things I can't control, but I mean, these are things that are really affecting my mental health and my stress levels, because these places are just waiting last minute, and it's stressing me the F out because I don't know if I'm going to be allowed to be able to get my care. And so the fear of the unknown is why I'm so anxious. And I did not even take my anxiety med today, and I am just trying to maintain my sense of emotions. So I gotta go. I'm at my appointment. I'm late. I love you all. I'll update y'all after this. Peace out.